Time for some big deal or no big deal here on the show. Happy Monday. Hope you are staying safe, staying home, and thanks for choosing us, by the way, here on GMFB. Let's talk about Tom Brady's departure, right? It leads many to believe that this is the end of the Patriots' streak of 11 straight division titles. That AFC East is wide open and up for grabs. Well, count Bills legend Jim Kelly as one of those who thinks that the Buffalo Bills' chances to dethrone New England are, they're pretty good. Take a look.
I mean, if they don't, then something's wrong. And Tom Brady is not there to block it anymore. So that, to me, is huge. I think, Tom, of course, is getting older and getting old, but he still can play. And I tried to talk him, into retirement like 2-3 years ago, but just wouldn't listen to me. I don't know why. But now that Brady's not in it, I definitely do think that the Bills are the team to beat.
The Bills haven't won the AFC East since 1995. Okay, keep fanning the flames and the hype. Jim Kelly, sounds good, Hall of Famer. Guys, big deal or no big deal, Schrags? The Bills entering the 2020 season with expectations for a division title.
Oh, it's a big deal, Kay, because you just showed that graphic right there. 1995 was the last time they wanted to. Guess who the quarterback was? Jim Kelly. The running back was Thurman Thomas, and the receiver was Andre Reed. So you're going back to that era, the last time the Bills were actually expected to be the kings of the division. So many bad years in between. And yet we're here, and they're a playoff team, and Tom Brady is gone. And when you have Jim Kelly, the Hall of Fame quarterback, the only quarterback to ever take you to a Super Bowl, who's done it 4 times, come out and candidly say something is wrong if you don't deliver expectations, that bar is set. I know the Bills have been talking this down the entire offseason. Even Sean McDermott came on our show and said, well, the Patriots are still the team to beat until we beat them. No, this is the window. This is the time. It's a huge deal. Now, are you okay with being the hunted? You've been the hunters for the last couple. It's always been a cute story when the Bills make a nice run into January. Are you ready to be that team, be the team that is dominant in that division?
Yeah, I'll be quick. Listen, if the bar is a division title, then the bar is too low. With as good as they were last year, the additions, adding Stephon Diggs, it should be an AFC title game. Like anything else, like Charles Barkley would say in those old commercials, is uncivilized. So how about you go out there, you get into the playoffs, you make a run for an AFC title game and possibly a Super Bowl. The team is good enough. You look at the quarterback position, Josh Allen is trending in the right direction his whole career. So let's go for a title instead of just a division title. Let's try to win the whole AFC.
You couldn't be more right, Nate. Last year, the Buffalo Bills won 10 games. I think the season was a massive disappointment because they didn't win a playoff game. This year, it's very dangerous. I'm talking title game to satisfy these expectations. And it's this sort of feeling of like, if not now, when? You got the great coach. You got the cool young quarterback. You got the star wideout. You got the great defense. It's like Buffalo Bills have been waiting this year. If you don't do it now, don't worry. Don't let the Dolphins get hot. They're building something special there. The Jets, too. It just reminds me of when Jordan retired the first time. Patrick Ewing begged him. He said, you can't retire. I haven't beat you yet. You got to stay playing. I got to beat you. But sure enough, Jordan leaves to go play baseball, as Peter's wearing the Barons shirt today. And the Knicks go right to the finals. So that should be the Bills. Jordan is gone. You better do it now.
It's a big deal because for the first time in, 20 years, there's an actual legitimate chance that the Patriots do not take the division, and there's a legitimate contender in those Buffalo Bills. It's all very exciting. Kyle, let's talk about our Chicago Bears here for a second. Nick Foles is there. Matt Nagy and him, of course, have a relationship. And Nagy spoke about the former Super Bowl MVP picking up the playbook. So take a look.
What we always talk about, it's like riding a bike. He's been through some different offenses, even from the last time we were together in Kansas City. But what happens is once you present somebody like Nick the playbook and they start looking at it, all of a sudden it just clicks and you start remembering and you just start retraining your brain from what you knew in the past year, couple years. Because even though everyone always says, Coach Reed, Doug Peterson, Frank Reich, that family that we have of coaches that have worked together some way, someplace or another, there's still terminology differences between all of us. And so, but that doesn't take much. And Nick's a smart guy.
Ooh, Kyle, he's speaking pretty glowingly, if you ask me. I got to tell you, when we finally get back in studio, I haven't seen you guys since February. It's going to be fun to see, oh, there's Rachel, and there's the goldfish that I eat for breakfast, and there's this, and there's Harmeyer running around with our scripts, and it's going to click just like that. Big deal or no big deal that Nick Foles is so familiar with Nagy's offense?
It's got to be a huge deal. And Nagy's got a twinkle in his eye when he talks about Nick Foles. Trubisky might say, yeah, well, I know the offense better than you. Foles could say, dude, I knew it before you. The fact that I knew that offense, I ended up getting a statue because of it. The fact that you knew it, why do you think I'm here right now, dude? I think it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. In the words of Nagy, if he says it's like riding a bike, what happens in the first couple of games where Mitch Trubisky is out there and his bike has training wheels on it? And all of a sudden he says, you know what? Let's go ahead and put Nick Foles on the bike because we know he can ride it better. I'm going to go with a big deal.
Yeah, and I don't know if he even gets that opportunity to ride that bike the first couple of games. It might be Foles from day one. The way they're talking here, it sounds like this is already a foregone conclusion. As much as Ryan Pace said that Mitch is our number one at the moment, I feel like once they get at camp and Foles starts clicking with Nagy, but not only Nagy, with John DeFilippo, who is his old quarterbacks coach in Philly, who is now with them in Chicago, with Bill Lazor, who Nick Foles played for in a previous life, is now with them in Chicago. Like, it's the band getting back together and saying, okay, we have this window, we have this team. We know that, Mitch is not being signed for that 5th-year contract extension, and we're kind of roll the dice, see what we got here. I feel like this might be Nick Foles' job. And when you see the coach talking so glowingly publicly about it, doesn't look like he's so afraid to show it.
And Triggs, you always talk about coaching trees. Nagy's system is, sort of branched from the same thing Doug Peterson has going on in the Eagles, where Foles won a Super Bowl. And with these challenges that COVID-19 has presented, it's pretty good to not be in the hole and having to learn a completely new system. Ooh, I can't wait to see how this thing shakes out in Chicago. You guys like talking about records and beating records. Well, our guy LT says Emmitt Smith's rushing record will not be touched. Is it really an unbreakable record? And